Welcome back, everyone, to the fourth round of Pod B. You guys just saw a lovely match between Cherubimon and Blue Hybrid, commentated by Egman and Espira, our other fellow commentators for the Digimon English World Championships. And we have another doozy of a match for you. Daniel O is matching up against Sebastien Turon. The two European representatives are going to duke it out to see who can represent their respective nation in this World Championship Finals.
Yeah, so going into this round, we do see that Daniel O is actually 1-0 at this point. Daniel O is 1-0. I made it funny.
RideZone.com. Huang is coming for your job. Look out.
So he's 1-0 at the current moment, and Sebastien is 0-1 as of this round. We did see him lose to Chungman back when it was the Blue Hybrid versus Gabubon matchup, but going into this round, it's actually, once again, Blue Hybrid versus Gabubon, actually. So, versus Chungman, it was actually really, really close. So maybe we'll actually see, go into the favor of Gabubon this time around.
And we are seeing a bit of a different take on pure Blue Hybrid coming out of Daniel O. As you guys saw earlier, he is playing BT4 Kendo Garurumon, Absolute Blast, some funny cards, and of course, alongside the ultimate boss monster of what I believe is, what does that say? It's... Oh, actually, he's not true. Oh, he does have no boss monsters, actually. No big level 6 Digimon from what I can see. Only access to hybrids and Beowulfmon, but also 2 copies of Susanomon. So if he wants to close out games, it's going to be through Bokomon/Susanomon combos that could lead to big damage. I thought I saw like a Magna Garurumon in there, but there is none.
So this actually, what it sounds like, it's very anti-yellow. Susanomon is really useful in the yellow matchup because, you punch him for 3 damage, and that really closes out the game. But also, the Absolute Blast is very, very useful for, bot decking certain different cards. So you strip away their sources from their Serafi or their Dynasmon, then you Absolute Blast it away, making sure their effects don't go off. So it sounds like it's very teched out for the yellow matchup. But definitely, I think that's really interesting because, obviously, there's no yellow in his pod.
True. It's just a bunch of Blue Hybrids and Cherubimon. But that being said, let's see if Sebastien can redeem himself in the Blue Hybrid matchup or if Daniel can get just one step closer to representing Europe in the top 4 of this championship. Honestly, as the Blue Hybrid player, there's not really much else you can do different than Sebastien was doing earlier, just trying to maximize your overall setup. It's all about waiting until the right time to bond. That's the biggest question that Sebastien needs to answer, and a lot of the time, it's not going to end well.
Okay, so we do see Sebastien ends up going first. He ended up winning coin toss, dice roll, whatever they decided to go with, but... okay, so it's a mat turn 1. Okay, not too shabby. It's not too bad. And then looking at the side of Daniel, he does have the Bokumon in his hand. He does have the blue. He has a Tamer. It looks like he has the gas.
I want to start. I want to let everyone know at home that these 2 players did not know beforehand what each other was playing. So obviously, had he known he was playing another Blue Hybrid mirror match, he might have committed the Hammer Spark to choke his opponent at 2. But against all the decks that are possible to play against in this format, that could be a risky play, sacrificing a Hammer Spark that early.
Well, I also think another train of thought is the fact that you just don't want to waste your Hammer Spark this early on. You want to hold on to it, but for hybrid lethal situations, right? But he does. True. Does he run Beowulfmon? Did you say he does?
No. So Sebastien is the one that does not play Beowulfmon. We learned that earlier. But Spooky is the one that doesn't play any level 6 or higher other than Susanomon.
Okay. So Sebastien not having a Beowulfmon means his only way of removing a Madoki Betamon is going to be the Gabubon, or it's going to be the Rattlestar.
And here from Spooky, we're seeing the first Pokemon being played for us to witness during this tournament. And I gotta say, for all the hybrid decks out there, Pokemon seems to be the lifeblood of those decks. Not only being the best way to search for your hybrids and tamers, but being an awesome way to capitalize on a setup that you already have by making it easier to go into level 4 hybrids.
Yeah, so the Pokemon will end up actually grabbing the Korikakumon as well as the Tommy. So really, really fantastic search right there. And it looks like he contemplated committing a Hammer Spark. But if you commit the Hammer Spark, I'm not sure what you would really do. I guess you could put your opponent to 2 memory, but then they bring out Raising. They go to 3 anyway. So yeah, so we do see the Tommy's just hard play, setting up our Tamers. Really, really good stuff coming out of Daniel. And, going back to a previous topic we talked about, Red RGB, has a much better removal than a Pure Green Hybrid, I just wanted to say.
Well, if we want to get into this talk again, let me just start by saying that Metal Kabuterimon does a lot of good and goes a very long way because most of the time, all you need to get rid of is a random rookie.
But
and when you can do that and deal a piercing point of damage, that feels pretty good.
We can do that too. But we also have that nifty card Atomic Blaster. You see? So,
I'm not going to lie to you. I think Thunder Laser's better.
And we can run that too. We have both.
Right, but like, it's way better to draw Thunder Laser all the time than Atomic Blaster some of the time. Does that make sense?
Why can't you just play both?
Because it makes it harder to draw both if you find room for both. Does that make sense? Because you're not playing 4 of both, are you? No, you can't.
Steven. See, your brain is just not awake in its true RGB potential, man. You're not there yet. You're not on my level of Beetleborgen, you know.
Oh my gosh, you and I are never going to come to a decision on this. Let's leave it to the players at home to decide which version of green is truly the best, RGB or pure.
Listen, I like RGB, you like pure green, I like yellow Cherubi, you like purple Cherubi. We're just never going to see that. Give me a new partner.
Oh gosh. Oh dude, we're going to watch a Cherubi match soon, aren't we? That's going to be that's going to be a heck of an argument.
All right. Anyway, Korikakumon ends up swinging. It does get the freeze off because it digivolved over the Lobomon, and Gabumon is going to check top 3. He hits the Davis off of it. That is free real estate, if I will say so myself.
Actually, you want to know something funny I just thought of? Because Sebastien isn't playing Beowulfmon, he has no way to get rid of this Boko. Which means if Spooky can get a second Boko in play, that could lead to a 3-evolution Susanomon.
Do you see that Gabu Bond in his hand? You ever just Gabu Bond away Bokomon?
I mean, but as we just said earlier, in the blue hybrid Gabu Bond matchup, going for an early bond is risky.
It's about sending a message, okay? It's about sending a message, Steven.
Oh, man. Bond does not like Boko, I see. Okay,
sure.
But if we see a 3-drop Susanomon come down, as someone who loves playing Susanomon in this format right now, I would definitely be a very happy camper. But here we're seeing the Davis come down to pass over 3 to Spooky. He didn't have to do that, but he wants to just set up memory for himself. He has a BT6 Gabu and a Bond in hand, so we can definitely see the aggression come out of nowhere for Sebastien. So taking that risk of here's 3 memory to then have all the memory he needs to do his plays feels well worth it.
All right, so we do actually see the Absolute Blast in the hand of Daniel, and Absolute Blast is, like I said, it's a really good card against the yellow matchup specifically. I'm not sure how much mileage you would get out of it in the blue hybrid matchup of all things, but nonetheless, one of them is running Rattlestar, the other one's running Absolute Blast. They both have some sort of expensive removal at the end of the day.
Ooh, but here we see the cheap removal in the form of Beowulfmon. Yep. That'll just clear this entire Korikakumon stack. Yes, it does give a Korikakumon back, which is, probably a net 0 if anything instead of a -1, but overall still a good play to make just to stop some of the aggression.
Arguably, you don't bounce back. Oh, no, actually, it's mandatory bounce back, isn't it? Yeah,
he has to.
It's mandatory.
If he adds the hand, he has to bounce, correct?
Yeah, so it's mandatory.
And I would say it's still worth it because he has no way to source strip, right?
No, I agree. I think overall it is worth it. Getting back your Korikaku as well as just putting on the gas, it's in the favor of Daniel O. I would definitely say. But he hits the Hammer Spark. But Madoki Betamon is on the board, so no memory gaining for Sebastien. Unfortunately, really really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Once again, these sort of memory blocking or reduced evolution blocking cards are coming in super handy in this set 7 format that is ruled by the ability to gain memory and the ability to evolve for cheap. So really excited to see those cards coming in clutch and these players being rewarded for finding the main deck space for these cards.
All right, and so the Sorojo does come on right down. Of course, Sebastien will end up going to 3 memory regardless because of the Davis. So putting on the Sorojo right now feels pretty about right, I would say. Okay, and so we're hatching our egg. He does have a copy of BT6 Gabumon if he wishes to go down that route, which it looks like we are. He has the mat and he has the Davis set up, so maybe a Bond will come out really, really soon. And this is a 3-attack Bond, of course. And that's actually pretty cool.
Yes, the BT6 Gabumon being set up alongside the double Hammer Spark potential, alongside the Ice Wall in Sebastian's hand, is definitely looking stacked, as the kids like to say. And we're committing the Ice Wall now, probably just to make it easier to choke, given that you don't want to like hard play something. You want to instead evolve on top of one of these tamers and then do something else afterwards.
I mean, you also at that point could have just played a Sora Joe and choked him at 1. Same thought process, but I think the main thing is
limiting the attacks, right? Because there's 3 bodies on board for Sebastian and a Bokomon that could evolve the Sora Joe for effectively free. So a lot of damage is potentially going to come his way on the next turn, and he has no way to know that there's no Magna Garurumon shenanigan, right?
Right. Yeah, I definitely no it's Zulongmon shenanigans.
Well, there's no Digimon on Sebastian's board, so it's worse. What do you mean?
It's about sending a message, Steven.
And here we're seeing a card we haven't seen yet today, the BT6 Strabimon that can actually gain a memory when a 10 Warriors or a Hybrid swings. I actually really like this card in versions of Blue Hybrid that play Magna, because if you also play Koji Miyamoto, you can stack multiple underneath, and when your Magna swings, you can gain multiple memory. It's a very useful card.
Yeah.
In those types of decks. In decks that don't have access to that, it's a 4-cost 3,000 DP rookie that can swing, and if you are forced to evolve into a Kumamon, can let you gain memory as well.
I've actually seen a lot of lists trying to cut out of this Strabimon out in favor of the other 2 Strabimons, but I definitely do think the fact that you gain memory on attacking enables a lot of your plays. It enables you to digivolve into your hybrid and extend your lethal and all sorts of like different shenanigans. So I actually really happy to see. I think this is the first BT7 Strabimon we've seen. No, BT6. This is BT6 Strabimon.
I've definitely the first one that I've seen being played, but we did see Spooky playing earlier. He might have shown it off there as well.
Right, yeah.
I was taking my mandated break. Nice little cucumbers on the eyes, little nap before my next commentating match. Happens all the time.
Yeah, I had that
standard.
Listen. You had cucumbers on the eyes. I had avocado toast because, as you know, us millennials, right?
Yes, it's just a spa day going on back here when I'm not live in front of you guys.
All right, so we do see the Gabumon is going to end up being pulled right on out. That mat will end up proccing, getting an additional draw, as well as the memory gain. So, I mean, do you commit to Gabu Bond here? Do we bond here? It's a little bit risky, I feel like.
So we have the second BT6, so the promotion is more than fine. We have the Korikaku, but no Tommy, so the stun is not online.
Well, also, if he draws into another level 4 hybrid, he has lethal. Did I miss an Ice Wall? Did I miss an Ice Wall? No, right?
No, so if he goes Bond 3, he has the Hammer Sparks 2. He would need one more Hammer Spark.
Oh, he would need another Hammer Spark. You're right. He would need another Hammer Spark, yeah.
He's 1 memory shy given the current board state. But, hey, he could just draw the third Hammer Spark.
Just draw a third Hammer Spark, draw another hybrid. You only draw 1 additional card off of Gabumon, so...
Why? Hey, no, what do you mean? You're drawing 1 card. Why wouldn't it be Hammer Spark?
That's true.
And we do see him coming in the Gabumon here. At the very least, it does clear the Mordecai Betamon and the Beowulfmon, and with only Sora Joe and this Gabumon killing itself at the end of this turn, he could actually just choke his opponent at 1 by playing Howling Memory Boost while attacking 3 times. So that sounds pretty good.
He actually will gain an additional draw alongside of this Upamon, alongside the Digivolution because of Sora Joe and Upamon. But he unfortunately draws into a BT6 Gabumon, so the lethal position of Hammer Spark Hybrid is no longer on the table.
But honestly, I think he's actually pretty happy with this setup because he does have Hammer Spark plus Howling Memory Boost and plenty of hybrids in hand that he could draw into in the following turn to win.
All right.
And lethal is not being threatened yet if he chokes him at 1.
Yeah. You know what would be fortunate if he hits a Hammer Spark right here?
Yeah, maybe commit the Hammer Spark first just to dodge that potential. Would have been nice.
He couldn't because Madoki.
True. You're right.
You have to hope that this isn't a Hammer Spark.
That is very true. So let's see. Is it? We saw Hammer Spark being checked earlier by Sebastian. Will Spooky do the proper mirror match thing and do it in time? No, it's not. It's Beowulf.
It's a Beowulf one. All right, cool. So now he could Hammer Spark and avoid having Hammer Spark pass, but it doesn't
but he does not.
He doesn't care.
At this point, it's less bad because you just choke at 1 and there's no attackers. So it's no big deal now.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's a lot better now. It'd be funny if this was a Hammer Spark. Okay, it's not a Hammer Spark. Okay.
And he gets the third swing. Just go for it. Just full send, no breaks.
I mean, yeah. At this point, you might as well commit.
Not only is he making a statement, he's setting up for lethal. So that's where I feel like the Gabu Bond early is really nice.
Okay, and
Is he going to choose to not attack with it? Oh, maybe now he's debating. All right, now Hammer Spark would be annoying.
Would it?
No, but like now he's thinking about it. He realized, oh, wait a second, that's a card that he could have in there, huh? And so now he's thinking, do I commit this now or wait till I'm done?
Nah, he commits it.
Nah,
gas
full
on the
send.
pedal.
Full send, no breaks, easy.
Oh, he hits the Hammer Spark!
You know what? He said he didn't care, and you know what? He still doesn't. His face is stone cold.
At some point, it had to happen.
I like how we were predicting it the whole entire time, and then we're just like, oh, well, now it doesn't matter at all if he checks it. And like, oh, there it is.
Listen. It is just like the law of blue players. There is a singular, at least one Hammer Spark in your security at some point, right?
I mean, both these players had one, so you know what? That's par for the course.
Yeah, definitely. But I will say, given his current board position, I mean, unless he draws another level 4 hybrid, he doesn't represent lethal on the side of Sebastien. But simultaneously, Daniel, not looking so hot right now.
I mean, I'm feeling really good if I'm Sebastien, if I'm honest. I mean, the only memory gain Spooky has are these Sora Joes. He can't commit anything to the board, otherwise he procs your Sora Joe, and he's choosing just to stay in as Kendo. He has the Hammer Spark now, plus the Korikaku, so he does have lethal. He's playing around the potential of like a Howling Memory boost by not promoting this Digimon.
Right.
And so now Spooky actually has lethal in the crack pack, so let's see if Sebastien can just end the game here, because technically he has to.
Okay, so the client is doing its thing, but yeah, it is currently Sebastien's turn. He does draw for turn. Is it a hybrid? Oh, it's a hybrid.
It is.
Okay.
All right.
And then you have 2 Hammer Sparks. You can definitely play around Hammer Spark and security as well. So yeah, this should just be the game for Sebastien actually.
Can you play around Hammer Spark? You can only go to 5 here max. So if he does get the Hammer Spark, it would be enough to stop the second hybrid from coming down.
I guess it is, huh? Yeah, it is.
So a second Hammer Spark for Spooky here could be the game, but that's the gambit that Sebastien has to roll with. We see him committing double Hammer Spark. We're going to see the Kumamon come down first, most likely, and then we're going to see it swing. Let's see what rolls are shown in this.
All right. Take a bet. Is it a Hammer Spark? Yay or nay? I don't think it is.
No shot.
No shot.
Full send, no breaks is always the wave when you're playing Gabu Bond. And the Kumon checks.
Okay, it's Kumon.
And it's a Kumon,
right,
that is just the game. We're going to see the Korikakumon come down on top of that Sora Joe, swing in for the last security check, or the last direct attack, and Sebastien is the winner of Game 1.
All right. So, with all that being said, definitely the adaptations that I fully expect to see going into Game 2. Number 1, whoever wins the dice roll, coin toss, however they decided, I would want them to go second, right? That is what I hope happens.
But every time we've said that, they've chosen to go first every single time. So maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe they want to be like the first person to attack to get the damage lead, because they view this more as a race and not as a duel of resources that we're kind of saying it is. I feel like there is some truth to that, especially being the Gabu Bond player. You want to get them as low as security as fast as possible, so your bonds are just lethal. But as a pure blue hybrid player, I think going second is always the best case scenario, because you always want to be reactive to what your opponent's board state is because of your freezing capabilities. So we're going to see what Spooky chooses here. I would say yes, going second is the most ideal, especially because he is a regular blue hybrid player, but maybe he wants to deny Sebastien the ability to go first.
Yeah, let's think. So
who knew a simple choice of going first or second would matter so much in a card game? But it actually does play a big role in how you traverse your first couple of turns.
I mean, yeah, I definitely would say that in specifically this BT7 format, going second has a lot of advantages. I know that I like to go second a lot, unless obviously you're playing Rookie Rush, which at that point just go first, no gas only, no brakes kind of thing. Which I'm kind of sad that Rookie Rush isn't around anymore. But me and OT Shake, I don't know if you know him, but he's a really well-known black player around North America. He tops multiple events in BT5 with a black toolbox. He's been working on Blimpmon Beatdown. So
the 7,000 DP level 4 in black.
yeah. It's actually
it's Octomon in black. I do really love that card.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. weirdly enough, you have a lot of toolbox potential in there. So maybe I'll do a deck profile on that on the channel eventually. But nonetheless, the game is starting very, very soon.
For everyone at home, they have switched positions, so Sebastien is now on the bottom of your screen, and Spooky is up top. I think that is a part of the simulator here that dictates who is going first. So that means Spooky chose for Sebastien to go first, probably for the reason I gave, which is to deny him the aggressive output that he probably wants. But maybe that's not the case, and they need to do some kind of shenanigan, like ending the turn to pass it over. Let's see if Sebastien does start his turn.
I was about to say, it'd be really funny if Sebastien ends up going first anyway. The hypothesis was wrong.
I mean, I've just been wrong all day today, so it's fine.
No, Steven. You have to give yourself more credit. You came up with RGB.
Well, I mean, technically, we gamers have established RGB for years, and I'm merely just paying homage to all the wonderful gamers that are out there. So thank you for making RGB a part of daily vernacular, and for, making it be the superior name than Christmas. Let's be real. All right, and Sebastien is choosing to go first, tapping the Ultraman. We're just going to move on and not mention that again, ending his turn by playing a Matashita, passing over 3. Very similar to the last game, but no Gabumon, sadly.
Yeah, this looks kind of rough for Sebastien, doesn't it?
If he sees a Gabumon, probably not, but if he does...
I mean, that's a lot of tempo you've just lost, unfortunately. This Gabumon is probably going to find a tamer because, it is just the law of blue hybrid. You're more than likely going to find a tamer right here. No, Howling.
But will it find both? And it
Yep.
does find both. Ultimate value. That's the reason why you always max out on this Strabulon, because it has the potential to actually +1 instead of just net 0 and filter.
Yeah, so we will end up seeing... I imagine Davis turn 1 for Daniel's side is going to come on down because your opponent is kind of bricked. You recognize that, and you want to capitalize on it. You want to hit the gas pedal as much as you can. And there it is. There is the Davis coming on down.
But as we saw in Sebastian's last game, a lot can be done with any kind of blue deck with 4 memory.
Bot decking Susanomon, actually. Okay.
We actually bottom decked it last game, too, with the
Did we?
Pokemon. I didn't say anything because I was like, let's keep the dream alive, team. But, yeah.
Yeah, so you said he plays, what, 2 Susanomon?
2 Susanomon and I believe 4 Boko.
Okay. But yeah, so we will end up seeing the Davis.
And it's the
down.
Gabumon from BT6.
All right,
Huge draw
hey.
into Davis. Watch it be into Davis.
Are you right?
Kuma.
Steven.
I mean, that's pretty good too. You can go Kuma, evolve, get another draw, or just hard play Kuma and then pass.
I think I would hard play Kuma, honestly.
Honestly, yeah.
I would hard play Kuma. I think you're in such an awkward board position that you don't. I mean, you don't. Actually, maybe you Digivolve because you just you have to bail yourself out. Oh, he chooses just to pass. He chooses to pass. Okay. So not committing any resources whatsoever. Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate over on the side of Sebastien.
You know what? This could be an early turn 3 bond game because, as you guys saw earlier, Spooky chose to instead of evolving his Upamon into the Strabi, hard played to get the extra value, and now he just drew into another Strabi right here. We could totally see Sebastien just go full send Gabumon, gain the mat memory, Hammer Spark, bond, attack 3 times, do something else after, like evolve Kuma to choke or whatever. That could totally be a play he's trying to set up for, given the cards he has in his hand.
Okay, so he does end up digivolving into the Strabulon. His hand is filled with hybrids. He actually draws into a Tommy. That's really, really nice to have.
Yeah, so he has more tamers for all those hybrids. Yep.
Right. I think a lineup play that you can arguably entertain because everything in your hand costs 2 or 3 at this point. So yeah, there's. I was literally about to say Kendo Gurumon, but okay, so he takes it back. We didn't commit to it. Yet. But yeah, everything is kind of an awkward interval of memory. Everything either costs 3, and the only way you get something to cost 2 is if you drop a tamer and then Digivolve over it with Korikakumon. That's
he could just go Korikaku on top of
Bayo?
Tommy after playing Hammer Spark. So Tommy Hammer Spark costs 2, choke 1, right? Or am I crazy? That works, right?
Could. Yeah,
he's going Kendo in the raising. So now he's going to pass over 2 minimum, but he's not risking anything in the battle area. And he's actually going to pass over 4. So he's making the read of his hand's dead. He passed. This is no risk right here.
Okay, so he ends up finding the Beowulfmon, a BT7 Strabimon, as well as the Absolute Blast. So that Absolute Blast is going to end up being bot decked. I think if you see the Absolute Blast, you kind of just make the assumption that your opponent only has 2 of those in his deck. More than likely, I don't.
Yeah,
foresee 3.
you're never gonna see 4 in there. It's 2.
I mean, I wouldn't even expect 3 to be honest.
I mean, if I'm Sebastien, I go full send Gabu Bond right here, no question, because I have Ice Wall too, so I can definitely stop lethal from coming down.
Wait, do you? Yeah, you do, right?
Right, like that's 3 free damage. You'll tie, and then you can go like Kuma, swing again, watch the Kuma live, and then you just go like, if you draw a Tamer, Hammer Spark, play Tamer, and then you go Ice Wall, pass.
Yeah, I think you actually don't have a choice. Your hand is such an awkward position that you need to get whatever form of cycling you can, and if that
you have to promote the Gabu. You have to promote the Gabu. You got to gain the memory. You got to draw, and then do anything else afterwards. I think the Gabu Bond play is real.
Yeah, I think you bond this turn. I actually do agree. I think at this point you just need, even if not for the triple attack, I think if nothing else but the cycle, I think you just have to go for it. Your hand is in such an awkward position with double bond and all of this. Like you said, Ice Wall is going to circumvent any lethal from being applied. There is the bond coming on out. This will cost 3, burn away 2, so he will go down to 2 security. Okay. So, what does he burn away? Tamer? Tommy, okay.
And Korikaku.
That's fitting.
The best duo of set 7, if I dare say.
That's pretty fitting. That's pretty fitting. Yeah, I would definitely say that. But yeah, so the Bond will be able to attack 3 times. Even if it hits a Hammer Spark, it will not pass the turn. Luckily for Sebastien, it does hit a Sora Joe. Wow, that is very fortunate.
No, this Bond's going away. What do you mean? Doesn't do anything.
No, wait. I mean, I just meant like if he hits a Hammer Spark. Wow.
He already restood. He's chill. He already restood the second time. So for a second I was like, does that stop the restand? No, it does not. Timing does not work that way.
I was saying like even if he hit a Hammer Spark, he could still like attack.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, which he hits an Ice Wall. So same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it ends up going to 0. Yeah.
Ironically, if you're Spooky, you want this Bond to survive so you get the extra memory. But we're just gonna see the Ice Wall. But now, how does Sebastien win the game?
Arguably, would you have Hammer Sparked Ice Wall and then played, say, Sora Joe, maybe? Because, I mean, like, we will see Daniel end up going to 3 memory, right, because of the Davis.
But it still wouldn't be enough to have lethal on the following turn unless Spooky checks a 3rd Tamer in the security.
Right.
And you have 3 hybrids, which you only have 1 right now. So it's asking a lot, but it does lead to the potential. And technically, you would need to have this Hammer Spark as well on the following turn. Also, that Tamer would have to be Davis, so you could have 6.
Alright, so it is currently now Daniel's turn. He has the Kendo out. Kendo does not, unfortunately, gain any value because there's no Digimon to bounce, and there's no Digimon to be able to get the Upamon draw source, unfortunately. But his hand is chock full of hybrids at the current moment.
Which is, all you really need most of the time to close out these games, but he does need memory in order to play those cards down, and the Ice Wall will get rid of all the memory he could have, and we're just going to see him commit the Beowulfmon for 3 to attack probably and pass over 2.
That's not too shabby. Not too shabby.
This gives him the best chance to survive the security attack while also doing his best to limit the amount of memory his opponent could have.
He's not even going to swing. He's just going to play Strabimon, lock his opponent over to 3. I think...
This is fine. Like 1 Matashita and 3 memory does not a lethal turn make from Sebastien, and setting up just more and more bodies for you to potentially attack with next turn. All he needs now is 1 hybrid and he wins, which we know he has.
Right,
and now Sebastien knows he has.
Okay, so it is now currently Sebastien's turn. What is Sebastien drawing to? I mean, at least he has the level 3 to devolve into, so that's an additional cycle as well, but it's not BT6 Gabumon, so no Bond shenanigans coming out from there. Does draw into the Davis. So he could end the turn on Davis to guarantee himself on 3. Draws into a Howling Memory Boost. That's
big.
That's very
really
nice.
big, because that means he can now not commit any Digimon and still present lethal. You'll go Howling, you'll go Hammer Spark, Davis, choke 3. They need to have a Hammer Spark of their own and two hybrids, which we know Spooky has, but Sebastien doesn't, obviously.
Right, and so this Bond angle is very real on the side of Sebastien. If it really comes down to it, but
he might not even need to play the Davis. Actually, he could just commit he can't do Kumamon on top of Matt, sadly, because that would get rid of his Matt that he needs for Bond on the following turn. But maybe he can go like Rattlestar. Is that crazy? just give 5? Because like that's not enough for 3 hybrids, right?
No. I mean,
but the Hammer Spark
like
triple
Hammer
hybrid,
Spark,
we know.
Yeah, Hammer Spark triple hybrid is enough.
Dude, is this going to come down to Sebastien checking a Hammer Spark in security right now?
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that Rattlestar.
It's better than sacrificing your mat, and it's the same thing as playing Davis. You know what I'm saying? Because they still have the 3 attacks, but this way it's not guaranteed. He needs to have 3 hybrids and Hammer Spark, whereas before all he needed was 2 hybrids and Hammer Spark. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like he's forcing Spooky to have everything in hand versus what was already established in play. So I do think Sebastien made the best call.
Would Sebastien have enough resources to finish, like to close out the game on the following turn?
So next turn he'll have guaranteed 2 thanks to the Gabu, guaranteed 4 thanks to Howling, and the Hammer Spark. Yes, so enough. He does have guaranteed game himself unless Mordecai Betamon gets played, but we have Bond, so.
Right. Yeah. Fine. So the Rattlestar it works out in the end. It is the best call.
So good job, Sebastien, seeing that. It's definitely a risky play, but I feel like it's the least risky given what it forces Spooky to have.
Yeah. It asks your opponent to have the most variables in their hand.
Which is his blue hybrid. All this deck does is draw in cycles. So obviously, it's like a very minuscule difference, but this kind of micro decision is what makes the difference between winning and losing in situations just like this.
100%.
Super
100%.
Close. And like we said, Hammer Spark coming out of security could just mean Sebastien just hard wins.
Yeah. Hammer Spark is and always will be an obnoxious card.
But I wonder if you're Spooky, do you commit for going for game, or do you go the safer route of trying to choke with Mordecai Betamon?
You commit full send.
I mean we've been seeing blue hybrid being paid off with the full sends today, so I would not. I would definitely love to see it. So let's see what he goes for. He goes for the Korikaku Evo here. This is probably just going to immediately attack, just get all the information out of the way now. We're going to see the commit of the Beowulf. So he is going to go for the Mordecai Betamon play that I said he could do here, going to 2, a swinging, and then choking at 3. But if this card right here, before he swings, is Hammer Spark, that could be the game.
You are somehow ahead of me. That's weird.
I was just predicting what he was doing before he did it.
Okay.
I was using my higher function before he did it.
I was like, where he didn't do the Beowulf mine?
Like he was like hovering over it and not actually playing it. So I was just like, he's gonna do this eventually. I'm just saying it right now, so no worries, you're fine. We are watching the same game, I promise.
I was about to say, okay. But nonetheless, so he ends up going for the much safer route. The Badoki Betamon will mean that his opponent won't be able to, cash in this Howling Memory Boost. He won't be able to sack a Hammer Spark in security, nothing like that. It is very much so guaranteed lethal on the side of Daniel, I feel like.
And Sebastien has already used his Ice Wall, so that's not an out for him to stop lethal. I think his best course of action is to do his best to limit what can already actively attack between the Beowulf, the Strabi, and the Mordecai, and then praying for a Hammer Spark given the board state.
Right. Oh, man. Okay, so he brings us out. Matt will give him an additional memory. That's not enough to Gabu Bond or anything along those lines. That's kind of awkward, a little bit awkward.
This EX1 Gabumon could evolve into a Kumamon that could get rid of a source because Tommy isn't going to be the inheritable. He can't freeze anything. He can't bomb without passing turn and also just going to 0 security.
I really can't think of an outcome that pays out here for Sebastien, right?
Spooky was able to make the best line of play to give Seb the least and also maximize his potential to have the board presence to win. If only Sebastien had access to a Davis or a Memory Tamer throughout this game, we could have seen a whole different outcome for this turn. But sadly, that Davis was drawn way too late and not optimally to be played. And we saw Spooky going for tons of early Davises, and that's just the power of how one person having Memory Tamer and one person not having a Memory Tamer can just clutch certain mirror matches.
Well, he could have actually played the Davis instead of playing the Rattlestar on that one turn, and that
would have been lethal. He would have had lethal on board, right?
That would have came up. But hindsight's 20/20, right?
Like Spooky wouldn't have done the Mordecai Betamon play if he had lethal, right? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But unless he hits Hammer Spark, which is what he's afraid of, right?
True. But I mean,
at this point, we're just nitpicking.
To say that
hindsight.
Spooky wouldn't go for a game if he had it is not a call that Sebastien can make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just saying Daniel has he had game last turn regardless. It's just at the end of the day, he's afraid of the Hammer Spark, and he decided to play the safer route, right?
And because Sebastien did not play Davis, it gave Spooky the out of, I don't have to win this turn, I can win next turn.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He was given a patient option that Sebastien didn't have to give him, but given the information that Sebastien had, it was still probably the best play just to be like, I have lethal, try and stop me.
Yeah, given the information. But like that's what I'm saying. Hindsight is 20/20, right? In the grand scheme of things, if you were playing for Hammer Spark, then you commit Davis. But nonetheless, we see Tommy, and we know in the hand of Daniel, he has the Hammer Sparks, he has the hybrids, he has everything he needs to close out this game.
Oh, I mean, more. He even has the Motokai Betamon, so Hammer Spark isn't even an option. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And Spooky is another level of safety, and Sebchak needs to believe more in what's in his security to win him games, and that'll be it for Game 2. Spooky is taking it. Man, just more and more patient play is being rewarded in today's tournament. And let me tell you, as someone who does love going full send, no breaks, I can really respect when someone chooses to be like, let me wait, I'll guarantee it.
I think right now they're probably the players are probably talking and they're like, yeah, I had Bond in my hand this entire time. like if you're just giving me one more memory.
But then Spooky's like, bro, I had double Hammer Spark, triple hybrid. I could have killed you at any point, but I knew you had the Hammer Spark in security, so I was not even gonna risk it.
Yeah.
But there we do see him winning Game 2. On to a Game 3. The first Game in 3, I believe you and I are going to be commentating today. Very exciting, super dramatic, and probably a big deal, too, because this game will decide who potentially gets their first win on the docket for Pod B. Both of these players, I believe, I believe Daniel O is 1-0, and Sebastien is 0-1. So this could be a super big swing into who has the potential to go 2-1 and make it to top 4 of Pod B. So now it's in Sebastien's court for picking. We've seen him favor going first, and I think given the way he has to aggressively push out damage, that still seems to be the best call for him, and Spooky has recognized that as well. What do you think? I know where team goes second, but these guys are better than us, so they probably know better too.
I definitely think at this point, I would imagine he would opt to go first, just going by the trend of everything that's happened. But simultaneously, I could also see... I just want to believe in the going second. I want to believe in the going second, honestly. But
so far, Sebastien went first that game and lost, and then Spooky went, and then Sebastien went first in Game 1 and won. So we don't have any good information so far. Sample size too small. Sample size too small.
Listen. He went first Game 1, not by choice. It was by coin toss and or dice roll. So
Right, true. But here he is choosing to go second, it looks like, given the makeup of the chart here. Sebastien is now on top, and Spooky or Daniel is now on the bottom. And I believe the person on bottom is the one who always goes first in our online simulator here.
Didn't you say whoever's on top went first last time, and then it turned out to be Sebastien?
No. They switched who was on top last time because Spooky made Sebastien go first. So no. And you can just end your turn. So now Sebastien is being forced to go first because I think it's random who goes on top and who goes on bottom because they have to queue up into different games each time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was going to say I think your theory is a little not ironclad.
Given what we've seen, everyone who's been forced to go first has to pass turn if they're on the bottom. So I do think the person who's on bottom has to go first, but they're just being like, I'm going to end turn, nothing's going to happen, and you're starting it off. Does that make sense?
No, I get you. Yeah. Okay, but we do see that Sebastien will actually end up going first. So actually no, Sebastien won.
So Sebastien chose to go first. Sebastien has chosen to go first.
Sebastien lost Game 2. So Sebastien will end up going with the Gabumon into Tommy turn 1. Okay, so we do see he has the BT6 Gabumon. He is elected to hold that in his hand, actually.
Smart. Let him cycle with the EX1 Gabumon effect and commit a champion on top of it if he needs to.
Right. And so we do see the BT6 Strabimon coming on down, but then there it is. Davis. The Davis. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Going second. It feels really good. So being able to choke Sebastien to 1 at this point feels really, really great.
An old argument I used to have in other card games that I played in the past, and even in Digimon, is the real decider of going first or second is how confident are you that whatever your ideal going second play is, how confident are you that that's going to happen every time you go second, right? Because if you choose to go second, you have no idea what your hand is until you start playing. So what if your hand is just a terrible go second hand, and you're just giving up way too much to your opponent who already set up their board going first? Well, so going first gives you more time to make up for what your hand might look like versus going second.
I think that's the argument as to why blue hybrid, or just hybrid in general, favors going second, is because you have so many configurations of cards that you could potentially draw into that, favor you to go second, right?
True.
But
I personally would tend to agree as well, but I think there's like a ton of factors you can consider.
Yeah, of course.
And overall, Sebastien has been proving he likes to go first. So let's see what if that pays off for him in this match.
So we do see he ends up evolving to the Kumamon that will allow him to cycle additional cards with the EX1 Gabumon underneath it, as well as the Upamon if his opponent gives him that resource to play with.
Plus staying in the raising area to play around any potential Beowulf plays that Spooky has access to is really big.
Okay, so it looks like we're actually going to hard slam the Strabimon, check top 3, find a blue Tamer as well as the blue Digimon, Madoki, not blue Digimon, a blue hybrid, a hybrid plus blue Tamer. There you go.
Yep.
So he is. Do you got Tommy or do you got Sora-Jo? I think you arguably Tommy.
Tommy's
arguably
probably
Tommy?
better. I think the hierarchy for blue hybrid is Davis first, Tommy second, Sora-Jo afterwards.
Is it Davis first, assuming you don't have a Davis established?
Like the first tamer you would like to see is Davis.
Yeah.
And then Sora-Jo is the best once you have those other two already in play. You just go Sora-Jo over and over again if you can.
Right. So yeah, he's definitely taking time.
He
to
is debating it. He is.
I mean, this is a hard decision. It's Game 3, World Championships. Everything is on the line. Yeah, I'd spend a little bit of time too contemplating here.
I think the decider factor would be like, what do I do if I add to my hand? Do I play it now or do I wait? Tommy's better to play now than Sora-Jo is, and Sora-Jo's more like a wait and see. I could totally see him going for like Tommy after Hammer Sparking to choke 2, but he is choosing to go Sora-Jo. I think it's fine. He's like, I'm gonna play this later.
Both outcomes are good. Like they're both great cards. So either way it works out. He does have the Madoki Betamon in his hand as well as the Strabimon. He will end up playing the Strabimon hard to check another top 3 for a hybrid as well as the blue Tamer. So now we're just digging through the deck at this point, representing a lot of pressure on this board as well. He does hit 3 hybrids. Okay, so no Tamers this time around, unfortunately, but he is able to add the Korikaku, which is very significant because he didn't have a level 4 hybrid in his hand previously to this.
Which is why probably he's going for Sora-Jo because it's the most long-term value, and right now he just needs that over a card like Tommy, which you want to like instantly evolve if you can. Also, do you think if you're Spooky that you're just assuming Sebastien doesn't have Beowulfmon anymore? Because I feel like the play he just went for playing the Strabi to 3 is punished by Beowulf, but Sebastien doesn't play Beowulf. So are you making that assumption as Spooky?
Yeah, I mean, after 2 games and you haven't seen Beowulf a single time, yeah, I think you make a safe assumption it's just not in the deck for Daniel, right?
So there's really no big play that Sebastien can do with this Kumamon that punishes triple Strabi, but Korikaku could come down to freeze 2 of them with the Tommy he has established.
All right, and so we are going to see Kumamon swing with the Gabumon Inheritable Sword skill. He will end up adding, actually, the EX1 Gabumon, so he elects not to grab that BT6 Gabumon, although he already has 2 BT6 Gabumons in his hand, so no need to grab an additional one. He does hit the Bokumon, so Kumamon will actually survive. Okay,
and nice. is not actively being threatened by anything, because the Strabis are weenies.
I mean, unless he obviously digivolves into Korikaku, because he has 3 hybrid Digimon on his board at the current moment.
True.
But yeah, so we do see the Howling Memory Boost coming on and on down, which I assume he's stunning the Strabimon that gives you memory on swing, if I had to, assume.
I would say the grouping of Strabis are good, and the one that's by himself, he's frozen. He's frozen in time. They don't even know he exists.
And so, yeah, he's just going to hard play the EX1 Gabumon. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he has a better alternative to that outside of like maybe playing a BT6 Gabumon to try and like threaten the bond, but of course he doesn't have the mat set up, so there is no threat of bond coming on out.
And again, like we mentioned earlier, the really big thing about a pure blue hybrid deck is you play hybrid rookies. So this Korikakumon coming down can freeze the Gabu and then just swing into Kuma to get rid of it.
Right. So it looks like we are going to go on ahead and freeze out that Gabumon, and then Korikakumon is able to swing into the Kumamon, taking that out. Really, really good tempo swing coming out of Daniel's turn, right? This board presence is really good. It's a really good setup.
And not a lot of security attacking going on. Very not aggressive game from both players so far. Like, we're about 3 turns in on each side, and it's not been nearly as aggressive as it has been in the past 2 games, I would say. So we're definitely looking at more setup blue hybrid boards right now that are trying to get as many bodies in play that could eventually swing out and do, like, 5 or 6 checks in a single turn, especially if you have enough tamers to just keep playing hybrids on top of. That's a very popular way that blue hybrid can win, especially if you are playing a more proper, pure blue hybrid deck.
Right, and so Strabimon is going to swing on in, and unfortunately it hits the Sora Joe, which is guaranteed to net over the advantage to Sebastian's side, so he will guarantee at least have 3 memory to work with, which is, it's really, really nice to have over here, but we see double Hammer Spark coming on out of Daniel's side. Wow, okay.
He kind of has to commit that to make this Sora Joe that he's playing now be less punishing because of the new Sora Joe that just showed up on Sebastian's board. Passing over 4 instead of 6.
Mm-hmm. So going over to 4 memory on the side of Sebastian, he does draw into a Kumamon. That's really nice. He has Kuma Korikaku. So if necessary, he can do a little bit of stripping, a little bit of freezing, and then there's the BT6 Gabumon going into the raising area. He does have the bond, but no mat. Okay.
No mat is very big.
Okay, so he does draw into the Davis, actually. That's super huge as well. He will be able to go into the Davis and then freeze out his opponent using the Tommy Korikaku. If he could do Korikaku first, swing with Tommy Inheritable, freeze out double Strabbies, and then drop the Davis. I think that'd be a really solid line of play. This Gabumon being frozen on the board, unfortunately, means that Sora Joe will give value unless he ends up Digivolving. But it looks like the Howling Memory Boost is going to get cashed in. Tommy is going to Digivolve potentially into the Korikakumon or the Kumamon in order to strip away the Korikakumon.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Sebastian go for a crash of Korikakus here while freezing the other 2 Strabbies, and then ending his turn by evolving Gabu into Kumamon, and then playing Davis. I could see that line.
I could see that. Yeah, I could
being really valuable for Sebastian.
Simultaneously, do you feel like you're pressured as Sebastian to catch up in the damage race?
I mean, there's 3 bodies plus 2 Tamers and a Mordecai. I'm feeling a little scared. You need to control the board in some aspect, and just freezing doesn't feel like a permanent solution.
Right. All right. So over at 4 memory, he does draw into another Gabu Bond off of the Digivolution. I assume once again he has gone ahead and frozen that Strabimon. Sora Joe is going to strip away the Korikakumon's final source. So goodbye Strabimon. He ends up actually swinging into the Strabimon. Okay.
Honestly, I like this better because he gets to keep his
Korikaku's frozen. Korikaku's frozen because of Sora Joe, yeah.
Yep, and now he goes evolve into Kuma, and then he can go play Davis. Next turn, that Kuma can swing and potentially add his mat to his hand, which might make him or incentivize him to keep this BT6 Gabumon in the raising so he can guarantee the 3 swings when he needs it.
Right, yeah, definitely a really good line of play coming out of Sebastian.
Just trying to maximize his potential resources in the following turn that can help him get the sequencing he needs to win the game.
Yeah, for sure. So I fully expected Davis to come out down at this point in the game. Of course, if he wanted to be really cheeky, Ice Wall, but there's really no point in Ice Walling at this.
He does have Ice Wall. I didn't even notice he had Ice Wall in there. That could be big, actually.
Have you noticed the trend? The player with Ice Wall wins.
Actually, last game Sebastian had it and he lost.
No. They both played Ice Wall, didn't they?
No, Spooky checked his insecurity and it got blocked by Mordecai.
But
so Sebastian, yeah, he played it and lost, yeah.
Details. Okay,
facts are frustrating, but yeah, it's still broken. It's still no one's gonna say it's not broken because it doesn't win all the time.
Did he hammer Spark into a Davis when there's a Davis on the board?
Did he think it was double Sora Joe and not Davis Sora Joe?
Okay, well, little interesting play, but nonetheless, Davis is going to reveal the Lobomon, Davis is going to reveal a Gabumon, and Davis is going to reveal the Strabimon. So no Tamers bot decked. Thankfully, no Matt was bot decked. If Matt got bot decked, I'd probably start sweating if I were in the shoes of Sebastian.
I mean, honestly, he's seen a lot of cards this game, even checked EX1 Gabumon and still hasn't seen a mat yet. My guess is there's a couple hiding in that security, and so Spooky needs to be a little careful at this point with how he attacks.
Right.
Because a single man security being checked right now could be just the end of the game.
Can you imagine how bad that would feel if you lose to Matt and security?
Well, if I remember correctly, these 2 people played a Gabumon mirror match for EU finals, and Spooky won by having triple Matt into triple Lobo. So you know what? Maybe he would just be like, karma's real. So hey,
karma's real.
Fair play.
Okay, so we do see the Howling Memory Boost coming on down that will, I imagine, and strip away the Korikakumon, get rid of that Tommy. I think you actually, hindsight, we know he doesn't have Matt, so you actually should have got rid of the EX1 Gabumon to deny Matt searching, right?
Well, he's going for the double Howling right here, just to stun both and get rid of both.
Hey, that works. Okay.
So fair play. Yeah.
Fair game. All right, cool. That works.
And that's better than committing a Beowulf that can't swing. So. Triple Bear with Absolute Blast is a little
right.
Yikes to work with right here. So I think Spooky made a very heads-up play there. given what he has. But let's see what Sebastien can do here. No real way to search for Matt anymore, so probably just promoting this Gabumon for the extra body that could swing. Maybe just like a...
I mean, he could also start cycling, digivolving his Korikakumon over his level 4s.
But again, no Beowulf, so that cycle ends pretty quickly.
Yeah, no Beowulf. But still, that extra draw, it still results in a freeze of some sort, because there are 2 hybrids on the board, so the Korikakumon will end up freezing. But we do see the Gabumon end up coming on down. I don't think... I mean, he could get Kyaromon value, technically.
Well, you know what? You know, if we want to get Tentacle, he could just draw Matt right here, play it, and then play Bond, because that's 3 + 3 = 6.
What does he draw off of?
He's I thought he had a Matt in play. I'm dumb. I'm so used to when I play Gabumon promoting a Gabu just leads to a draw. Yeah,
no, it's all good.
He does have Kiaro, which Howling boost.
But
Kiaro
he would have
draw.
to swing. He would have to swing, which means he could not Bond this turn.
True.
Yeah, so the Sora Joe will end up coming down. He gets the additional draw. Is it a Matt coming on down to the wire? Let's see Kyaromon do its thing. It is a Korikakumon. Okay.
Okay. I don't think this is actually important, right? Because you got to get rid of the Gabumon probably, because leaving that in play with the potential Matt being played is dangerous. Because, well, I guess you have Beowulfmon, so you can just bounce it if it's a problem.
You could also just swing into it.
Well, not if your board gets frozen.
It's fine. There's no way he freezes all 3 of these bodies, right?
I mean, would you risk your Mordecai Betamon just to crash a Gabumon?
You gotta believe in the hybrid. Believe in the hybrid top deck.
So if I was Seb, I would try to just maximize the freeze this turn, go like Korikaku, Howling, and then pray you draw Matt, and then next turn, evolve BT6, try to go for Ice Wall, and then just guarantee game after that.
Do you even need to freeze everything? Like honest question, do you need to freeze everything?
I think you do it to just get the Evos on board to play around Sora Joe. Does that make sense? So you may as well just freeze everything.
See, I can agree with that. I can also see Howling into another Sora Joe, right? Because you end up passing. You have to pass over your memory somehow, right? And you don't want to commit an additional body. So if I had to guess, I would see Howling Sora.
Well, he doesn't have a Sora in hand. Oh, he does have a Sora in hand.
He does have a Sora Joe in hand. Yeah.
Probably just playing Sora down, honestly, to keep the extra freeze for the following turn. Could be nice.
Okay, so we'll end up...
Because if he commits Howling, he runs out of ways to freeze.
See, this is what... Okay, so it goes back to the point where I was saying, does he need to freeze everything? And the answer is no. He feels like he doesn't actually need to freeze everything. And that works out.
Right, but he still has to freeze like at least 2 things.
Yeah.
Sora Joe value, so he may as well. You know what I mean? And then now Spooky's threatened by these 2 Korikakus that can just swing. Next turn he just plays a Gabu. If he gets Matt by then, like that's like 1 security versus a Gabu bond. That's like game always.
Right, and so I mean at this point in the game, while you do have the Madoki Betamon that will stop any Hammer Spark or Howling Memory Boost cash in shenanigans. This Madoki Betamon, I don't think it's frozen, right?
I believe the Strabi and the Korikaku are frozen.
It's the Strabi Korikaku. So, do you contemplate swinging the Madoki Betamon at this point?
You don't need to. Plus, you want to because I think he's planning to swing with a Beowulfmon here, so having the Mordecai Betamon swing after that to stop the Spark for both attacks is a bigger deal. Ooh, there we see the starter deck Matt, which is a fun tech some people do in their blue hybrid decks. It's basically like a 2-drop vanilla rookie, but it's uninteractable because it's a tamer. And if you have one of it and a Sora Joe, you start every turn with 6, which is 3 guaranteed hybrids potentially. So very, very cool card in the deck.
Okay, so we will see the Kumamon coming on down. It will strip away one of these sources. And then, of course, the Beowulfmon as a follow-up. Beowulfmon will cost 1 memory only because there is no Siakomon in either player's decks, actually, if I remember correctly.
But again, Sebshark doesn't play Beowulfmon, so, who cares?
Yeah, but Daniel does.
True.
So,
but, there's no room, Gabumon, there's no room for Siako in there.
So anyway, we do go into the Beowulfmon. Beowulfmon will be able to bounce back one of these Korikakumons, and it's like, oh cool, I get my Korikakumon back, and at the same time it's like, oh, I just lost a little bit of my board state.
You know what? I could totally see Absolute Blast being played this turn.
Honestly, I would not be completely opposed to it.
Because what you do is you would pop your Mem boosts, you play the 2-drop Matt, and then you'd play Absolute Blast. I believe that ends up passing over, so it's 8 minus 4, it's 4,
it passes
8.
over.
Passes over 8 because of both Sora Joes. But you clear the board. You clear the board. You have 3 security. There's no Gabu bond, and 4 hybrids in a 8-card hand after seeing Korikaku, Kuma gone is very unlikely.
All right, so Beowulfmon actually hit another Davis. He bot decks the Matt.
It could have been a Matt, but right here, Matt is less impactful in security because there's no Gabumon on deck.
Right. But nonetheless, at some point you're gonna need to see the Matt at some point, right?
For sure. Watch him just draw a return this time.
I can't calculate all those odds. Look. But yeah, so currently at this moment, I could definitely see double Howling boost cash into the Absolute Blast. I could also just see him playing a lot slower and just looking for the Mat. But it looks like he's going to cash in. Does he? Oh, he's actually going for Beowulfmon. So, not Beowulfmon, but he's going to go into Kumamon. He could cash in again and then go into Beowulfmon and then bounce back with Korikakumon and then play a Mat or Tommy now actually.
Both are fine. Yeah, I would say the Mat for the potential extra memory, right? So that way you can go into a guaranteed hybrid and draw after you bounce this Kuma.
Right. So we are gonna go for the Beowulfmon line of play. Actually, this passes over very minimal amount of memory in the grand scheme of things because you're not absolute blasting for, I believe it's 6 memory if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so he would have done a total of 8 total if he played that and the Matashita, which would pass over 4. The 2 Sora Joes would proc, giving over 8. But this will just end with what I believe is 1 to 3 to 7. So it's only 1 memory less, but he gets an extra dude in play that has sources and forces more than just Kuma Korikaku to freeze. It forces like Kuma Howling plus Korikaku to freeze. So basically, he's guaranteeing himself another body that probably will live and not get frozen in the following turn, even though Sebastien has shown very few freezing cards left. But like we said earlier, Sebastien has a little card called Ice Wall in his hand, and so if he top decks Matt, that could be so big.
Oh,
and
so
he is going to commit the Ice Wall, the Absolute Blast.
Wrong option.
What did I say? Ice Wall?
You said Ice Wall.
They're blue. It's a scary card.
It's same ballpark.
Interesting. Not playing the Mat is, I think, the one situation that I'm not happy about. I feel like both plays were fine because they both hopefully end in you getting the Mat, which gives you an option for if you draw another hybrid to having another attacker.
Yeah,
And then you don't have to risk your Mordecai Betamon.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with this either coming out. I definitely think the Beowulfmon play would have been a lot.
And we saw the
smoother.
Mat, by the way, at the top deck. We see it. It's right there.
It happened anyway. Of course it did. Like, why wouldn't it happen? Why not, right?
Dude, 8 memory plus an Ice Wall and a Mat. That's just like free real estate for Sebastien right now.
I mean, not okay. So we know that there's actually he could do double Beowulfmon bounce. But without any tamer on the side of Daniel, there's no way for him to guarantee he has enough memory to do all sorts of different plays. Like, yes, he could. Beowulfmon would cost 3 because there's no tamer under. Oh no, Beowulfmon could cost 1 because Kumamon has a tamer underneath it.
And so, and then there's another Beowulf already in play.
Right, but that Beowulfmon can't bounce anything anymore.
Right, so we're probably just gonna see like Ice Wall plus Howling Mem boost here, pass.
Yeah.
And then next turn have what is that? 3, 5, 7, 8 memory again. And that's the crazy thing about Sora Joes. Once you get
Lobomon. Okay, interesting.
He wants to choke. Like playing the Howling Memory boost does nothing.
Right,
Choking at what is better. I get it. And he already has another hybrid in hand with Kuma anyway and Korikaku, so he's not risking anything. This is better. Just giving him 2, giving him as least resources as possible to work with.
Right. Okay,
and there we go. So, Ice Wall. Will Ice Wall win a game for Sebastien here? I believe last time it did lose him a game, didn't it, against Chung?
Like Chung played Ice Wall, yeah.
Yeah, so that's some nice retribution right there. If this does end in him getting a victory, like I said, it didn't happen earlier. Let's see if it happens right now.
Let the record show. I said Ice Wall would win the game. I said it.
First of all, okay, once again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but you said Ice Wall has won the game for everyone who's drawn it, and that's not true. But if you want to say it right now, you would be correct. So feel free to say it right now. Feel free. Go ahead.
Steven, listen, man. Listen. Ice Wall won the game. I'm just saying. Ice Wall's gonna win the game. Okay, look.
Oh, man. All right, here we go. Yes. Beowulf comes down just to maximize the 1 memory he had, to get the most out of it. And does he swing? Does he just accept fate? Does he show off the mat? Let's find out.
Yeah, we're accepting fate. Okay. So on the side of Sebastian will actually go all the way up to, what is that?
It's 8.
3,
It's 8.
5,
It's 8.
7. Isn't it 7? Oh no, wait, 8 with
Matt.
Matt. 8 with Matt.
Yep.
8 with Matt. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Oh, it's a hammer spark.
that means he goes to 4, which means he goes to 9.
Yeah.
Because he already gained the 2 from Ice Wall. Oh, they're not doing it. It doesn't. It probably won't matter, but it's technically 4.
Actually, wouldn't it have been 10?
No, because he swung 2, goes to 4, and then gains 4 more. That's 8 plus 1 more. That's how, so it would be 9.
Okay. But yeah. Sebastian had the world is his oyster right now, right? You can just go for this bond. You can bond deck the Madoki Betamons, and you just start popping off.
And Spooky is in the situation that a lot of players were in back in BT6 and EX1, which is just don't have Bond. just don't have it. Just don't have it, and we're good. A feeling I knew far too well playing in BT6.
All right, so now obviously all 3 security is a hammer spark plus it's three hammer sparks and ice roll, some combination of that, right? That's how we win the game here.
I mean, we already have the Lobomon in play, so we can actually just freely commit this Mordecai Betamon, and then it's guaranteed. It would have to be, I believe, the second Absolute Blast to matter. But if I remember correctly, Spooky already checked one in the security, so that might not even be on the table. So yeah, if this Mordecai comes down, there is no shot for Spooky to survive this turn, given the Lobo that's already established.
Right. Yeah. So definitely. Ice. Oh man, I have like PTSD from Nationals right now. That's weird.
Hey, dude, Gabu Bond is real. Anyone that says different in this format, I feel like hasn't played against it because it's still scary to stare down just 3 damage guaranteed from the raising area. I'm just saying that's still scary.
I'm not sold on Gabu Bond this format. I'm not sold on it. I think
it's winning this game. Look at this.
Was it Gabu Bond winning, or was it a certain aforementioned card,
Is it a glacial concrete formation?
Some may say it is what holds up a house,
in Antarctica.
Yes, an igloo, if you will.
Yes, the good old igloo smack. Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're calling this. It's no longer ISL, it's called the igloo smack.
I'm just full of names today. Let me tell you something right now. Right now, Sebastian is just like, how do I put the cards down? We've all been there where we have game. We're like, I'm trying to get to it. I'm so sorry. I just have to find the cards in my.
Okay. So the real thing is we know Daniel has Susano. So what if Gabu Bond hits a Susano in security?
Oh my god, that is actually on the table. Didn't I bottom deck one this game, or was that last game?
No. That was not this game. It was last game. So there are 2 Susanos unknown presents.
It would have to be the first check, wouldn't it? Because if it was the second one, no, it could be the first or the second check.
How funny would that be? Susano comes out and claps Gabu Bond, showing who's the real level 7 in the format.
The real finisher. All right, the first one.
Okay, Beowulf. Okay, so this next check has to be Susano.
Watch it be the last one and not the second or first.
Oh, it's
Hammer Spark. Mordecai 2 broken.
Yeah, that's not enough right there. Madoki Betamon is right there.
And Korikaku, and then Lobo.
And that's game.
Sebastian came back after losing game 2, winning game 1, and he is now 1-1 in Pod B alongside Daniel O or Spooky, who is also 1-1. Both of them have a chance to still end up 2-1 and earn a right to be top 4 for today's World Championship. That was honestly pretty crazy. Icewall definitely came in clutch, like we've been saying in that last game.
Igloo smack.
No. Like the good 1-2 punch, the good 1-2 igloo smack. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
Yeah. But regardless, coming up next, we do have Vicente versus Kevin. So that is going to be what is that? Three Musketeers
versus Yellow Hybrid. That is a fun matchup. All my Bielstermon fans out there know how good that can be for you, getting multiple Bielstermons back to back. But we know that Kevin's deck has a ton of recovery, and so it will be definitely a grind to see how much damage Vicente can give off. You guys will be joined once again by Louise, the Panda, and Gyroshan commentating that match. I'm sure they're going to do a wonderful job. Be sure to give them some love when you see them after this short break.
All right, take it easy, everyone. We'll see you in a bit.